Welcome coaches to our web tutorial on basketball defense. It doesn't matter how good your team's offense is. If your team can't make stops, they won't succeed. It's extremely important that every player is able to guard and stay in front of their man. So let's start off by going over some of the fundamental principles for playing on-the-ball defense. I really believe strongly in teaching your players how to play man-to-man before introducing zones, especially for younger players. It'll really help them in their careers in the future. You can never go wrong by teaching good man-to-man principles. Okay, so let's get started with some of the rules for on-the-ball defense, also known as man-to-man defense. Rule number 1. Be in a proper defensive stance, which is the athletic position in which your knees are bent, butt down, staying low, weight on the balls of your feet shoulder width or slightly wider. This athletic position allows you to react quickly. Your players should always be in this position, not just for defense but also on offense. Once again, it's the athletic position in which knees are bent, butt is down, you stay low, weight on the balls of your feet, and your feet shoulder width or slightly wider. You should have one hand high following the ball and the other hand low. The one hand high, which is on the ball side, is there to deflect passes and to block the player's vision. And the weak side hand is low to prevent crossover dribbles and to get deflections whenever the opportunity is there. You should keep your head up, looking at the player's belly button or abs. Don't look around for screens. Stay focused on your man. It's your teammates' responsibility to call out screens for you. If there's a screen on your left, players should be yelling screen left, so that you know what's coming. Don't look at the ball or your player's feet. They will fake the heck out of you if you focus on those. The only place where the player can't fake is the belly button or the abs area. If the player's midsection is moving in a direction, you better believe that the player is actually moving in that direction. So once again, never focus on the ball or the feet. Always look at the player's abs and see which direction it's moving. Rule number 2. Force your players towards one direction and then beat them to that spot. As a defensive player, you want to limit the offensive player's options. The more options they have, the more things you have to defend and be worried about. By forcing your players towards a direction, which is mainly towards your help defense, you limit the offensive player's options. Some coaches believe that you should always force your players towards the sideline or baseline because of the built-in natural defender, which is the out-of-bounds line. But I believe that you should always force your players towards your help. Make the offensive player go through your defense rather than going through just one of your defenders. The more players they have to go through, the harder it's going to be for them to make a play. So once again, we think it's smarter to force the offensive player to your help defenders rather than forcing them to the out-of-bounds line or the baseline. Alright, so let's get started by working on practicing some of these principles. The play you see in front of you is the zigzag drill, which is a nice drill that I'm sure you've seen and probably run before. However, every time we've seen this drill run, we've always seen it being run incorrectly. The coaches that run this drill simply stress and focus on the wrong things. So here's the right way to run this drill. As you can see, two players are lined up at one end of the court. Red 1 is on offense and purple 1 is on defense. The defensive player should force the offensive player towards one direction and try to dictate the offensive player's movement. Most coaches we've seen running this drill do it the opposite way. They have the offensive player dictate the movement of the defensive player, which is not what you want to do. You want your defensive player to position themselves to force the offensive player to move in a certain direction, and then have the defensive player beat the offensive player to the spot and force them to move in the other direction. Now, when sliding, it's very important not to cross over your feet. Your head should stay level. It shouldn't bob up and down. one foot should be pushing and the other one should be pointing in the direction they want the offensive player to go. Once red 1 gets to the sideline, purple 1 should beat red 1 to the spot and then force them to move towards the middle. Once red 1 gets towards the middle, purple 1 should beat red 1 to the spot again and then force them to move towards the sidelines again. The drill continues like this until they reach the other side, as you see in front of you. At the end of the sequence, simply switch and let red 1 play defense, while purple 1 is on offense. Red 1 dictates the movement, and purple 1 follows. Also, if you wanted to, when your players reach half court, you can have your players play a simple one-on-one by allowing the offensive player to just have one shot attempt. Once again, the mistake that coaches make in this drill is that they don't focus on having the defensive player dictate the movement, which is actually the most important aspect of this drill. Without emphasizing that, this drill is actually pretty useless. Okay, so now let's work on some of the help defense principles, which will be covered in the next video. Please move on to the next video on help defense. Thank you.